Hi, I'm Marta with the Michigan Education Justice Coalition, and I'm here to walk you through our school budget advocacy toolkit. Over the next month, a lot of decisions will be made on what gets funded and what gets left out for our schools. By the end of June, each school district will finalize and have their school board approve the budget for the following school year. Meanwhile, in Lansing, the legislature and our governor are working on how to spend our state's surplus in our schools. MEJC will have opportunities to get involved with state funding advocacy later on, but more immediately, let's dive into this toolkit to help get more people activated in your school district's budget process. As you likely know, Michigan Education Justice Coalition, or MEJC, is a coalition of community organizations that work with parents, caregivers, and students, and all sorts of public education allies to reimagine our schools as places where everyone can grow and thrive. We believe community organizing offers us the best way to build power and affect change. It's not too complicated either. There are 4 main cycles to organizing. It starts with listening to invite in people that care about the issues that you do too. We win with greater numbers, but we also win with more hands helping with different tasks and more perspectives offering fresh ideas. Research is next. It's important to understand what the opportunities are to speak up and influence change, as well as better understand root issues at play. Research helps us create a plan for the next stage, direct action. This is when you show up to school board meetings or hold issue-focused town halls, or some action that bridges the gap between the problems and opportunities to influence and make change happen. After you've taken your direct action or actions, then it's time to celebrate and evaluate. Feel good about what you've been able to do and discuss anything that you've learned from the experience and what could be next. So let's dive into our toolkit to apply this process to district budgets. First, stage is listening, and that's when you invite people in to get to a fresh take on what priorities people would like to see get more funding, and ask who's willing to join you in speaking up during the budget hearings on those priorities. Research is next, finding out when and where the budget hearing is, and at what point in the agenda public comment is to happen. Often these budget hearings are scheduled right before a meeting of the entire school board for an efficient passage of the budget. Finding out if the school board has passed a resolution opposing the voucher ballot proposal, something that could seriously threaten public school funding, is another good question to cover on the call as well. We have a handy spreadsheet to record answers to this research stage and be able to track this data across the state. The next stage is direct action, and we already know what it's going to take for this stage, which is getting people to give a public comment at the budget hearing about what parents and caregivers want prioritized in the budget. From across the state, we usually hear about more mental health services, more staff, upgraded HVAC systems to ensure safer indoor air quality, or other infrastructure investments that are needed. There may be additional district-specific priorities shared by parents in your location as well. Some additional tasks that can help make the direct action a little bit more successful is someone that can take pictures or videos of the people that are making public comments to share later on within your group or with media if need be. And if you have a wordsmith, someone to draft a specific statement for people to read during public comment and email to the school board afterwards. And finally, it's really nice to have a person that can take on facilitating some celebration and evaluation afterwards, making sure folks that weren't able to attend are kept in the loop for the future. And really, this evaluation step can be whatever works best for your group. It could include an in-person meetup over coffee or a happy hour, a virtual meeting over Zoom, or even just a thread in a Facebook group of parents. Whatever works best for the people already or newly connected. Something to help people that participated in the direct action share their experience, what surprised them or was especially interesting, or any further questions they had afterwards, and share it with folks that weren't able to attend. It's important to remember that with ESSER dollars, which are the federal relief dollars directed to schools over the next few years, these dollars can be shifted throughout the school year, and having some people that are plugged in throughout the year is a good idea. So opening the door to ask for interest in ongoing school budget advocacy in the following year is a great question to cover during your evaluation. So if you agree that we need to make sure our priorities are better funded, We need you to help initiate this in your school district. You can initiate by posting in an existing Facebook group or simply messaging parents and caregivers you know care about issues in your school district. What do people want to see get more funding? And who wants to join you in speaking up about that? We have images you can share in groups or potentially other parents and caregivers in your district to connect you with as well. Once you have a growing set of people interested in helping, list out the tasks that need volunteers, having a researcher, someone to help with crafting public comment, people to actually speak up and commit to making a public comment, and more. To access our templates or for public comment or other tools that I mentioned earlier, call or email your MEJC coalition member organizer as your next best step. If you haven't already connected or are unsure if you have a coalition member organizer that you're connected with, please follow up with our executive director, Trina. She can then connect you with the best person in our coalition to help you. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about how we can impact our local school budgets. I know a lot of us are deeply concerned about the attacks on our schools. In times like these, I like to remember an adapted quote from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has.